Hello and welcome to episode 56 of Novel Knits. My name is Dehnel and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about what I'm knitting and what I'm reading. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm always really happy that you're here spending your time with me. And I have almost 500 subscribers. So if you're just checking this out and you like what you see and want to subscribe, that would be awesome. I don't really put a lot of thought into how many subscribers I have or anything like that. I'm not really into the YouTube algorithms, I guess, but it would be kind of cool to have 500 of you because I think that opens up a little bit more I can do with like announcements and such. But yeah, if not, no worries. I never take it personally. I'm glad you're here regardless. So if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm always happy to see you. We are in the last quarter of Shop Your Stash, which is my year-long make-along. I think I'm going to take a break from make-alongs next year. This one has felt long and I can feel like some energy dwindling in the Ravelry group, and that's all fine. It's a year's long time to do a make-along, but if you're just hearing about it and you're like, I've been knitting with stash yarn, please join us. Please join in. I have a group on Ravelry, and you can also join on Instagram. All the information on how to join will be listed below this video in the description. I'm not going to go into it a lot today because really I'm tired of talking about it. But basically, if you're knitting from stash, join us. I have the Q3 prizes that I'm going to be announcing in just a second. And then at the end of the year, I will be drawing 2 to 3 physical yarn prizes and also more pattern prizes. So it's going to have a big celebration at the end of the year for all of us who have shopped our stash. You don't have to be exclusively shopping your stash. You don't have to be doing a no buy year. Lord knows I haven't. But if you're finally knitting with that yarn that you've had since 2008, or even just knitting with the yarn that you bought intending to make something for the holidays last year, please join us. So our Q3 pattern prize winners are please send me a message on Instagram or Ravelry and I will get those out to you as soon as I can. $10 US or less. I'm not made of money, but I do want to gift you something and say thank you for joining along with me. All right, so today I am wearing my DRK Everyday sweater. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I made this in, I think 2022 at the end, or 2023. I'm not sure. It feels like a newer sweater for me. I think I did it last year. I really like it. It's a little, I'm not so much a cropped person. This one is definitely cropped. It has bracelet length sleeves. I'm not 100% comfortable in this one, but I do really like it. I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, I think in the claret heather color. So it's like a beautiful wine color. And my dog is here as well, so you may hear her. I do love how it looks up here. It comes right at my midsection, which doesn't always feel the best. So I think I just have to work on how I'm gonna wear this and style it. I have a pair of higher waisted jeans than the ones I'm wearing right now that might work better with it. I did also just buy a high-waisted jean skirt, so maybe I'll find some ways to wear it this fall. I'm really hopeful because I think it's really pretty and I'm really proud of this one. It's just a style I'm not 100% comfortable with. We'll get there. But it looks nice on camera, so I'm going with that. I have 4 finished objects today. Only 2 of them are with me, and I have about a bazillion works in progress. And we're gonna have a very brief book club / personal section at the end. I have not been reading a ton lately. I am stuck on a book, and actually today during one of my walks with my dog, I finally put it on double speed, and I'm just gonna try to get through it because I don't feel like quitting it, but I'm having a hard time getting through it. So I'll get to that at the end, and I will try to remember to tell you when I'm switching over to that so that if you're not interested, you don't have to stick around. All right, finished objects. I'm gonna start with the things I don't have with me. I finished the Packer socks, you guys. So if you were here last time, I have been working on these Packer themed socks for over 2 years for my friend Chris. And I finished them. Once I committed, the second sock went really fast. Plus I traveled for work, so I had some long flights and that really helped as well. The yarn I used, and I will put in a little video after I'm done giving you the specifics here, because I did remember to take a video of this one. is Blue Barn Fiber Squishy Sock Yarn in the Green Bay Packers colorway. I live in Wisconsin. People like the Packers here. They're not colors I like to use, which is probably part of the problem, but I got it done. I started these on July 1st, 2023 or earlier, and I finished them on October 4th, 2024. I did magic loop, 72 stitches, fish lips kiss heel, and a US men's size 15 foot. So it looked a little like a stocking by the time I was done with the first one. And yeah, so I finished them, I gifted them to Chris, he tried them on, they fit him, and here's a video. Okay, the second socks I finished are for my dad. They're the library socks. I made these for my dad's 83rd birthday. These I just have a picture I'll insert after I'm done talking about them. These are, the library socks is a free pattern from the kitchen sink shop. It's a pattern I've knit, I think this is the second time, but I really like this pattern. If you're looking for a free pattern that's just a little bit of interest, it's really good. The yarn I used is Full Moon Fibers Solar Sock in Flannel Jacket. I again did a fish lips kiss heel, 72 stitches. And I started these on June 3rd, 2024 and finished them on October 13th, 2024. Magic loop, and I believe they're US men's size 11 and a half. Yeah, and my dad liked them. The thing that was really interesting about these socks is the yarn was the specks of color were much brighter on the second sock. And I think that made the second sock go a little bit faster because it was like these pops of color that were making me really happy. And the first sock was beautiful too, but it was just a little bit more vibrant in the second sock. So I really enjoyed the second sock more than the first, which is really bizarre if you're a sock knitter. So I'm going to insert a picture of these socks here. Okay, now let's get into things I can show you. I finished the Home Camisole by Caidree. I started this on September 9th, 2024, and I finished it on October 17th. I ended up making a size 2. I had originally cast on a size 4 and it ended up just being way too wide. I did not gauge swatch, so that's on me. So I went down to a size 2. I kept my needles and yarn the same and it ended up being just fine. So yeah, I made this with Knit Picks, Capra DK, and Hemlock Heather, and I started it on September 9th and finished it on October 17th, if I didn't say that already. So here it is, and I'm really happy with this. I actually wore this for a little bit this weekend, and I just adored it. So the last time we spoke, if you were here, I talked about how I forgot to pick up at the shoulder seams and things looked not great. So I ended up unpicking that and taking out a few rows and then just Kitchenerring, and I think it worked pretty well. I can feel this one's a little messier, but still not bad. And then you finish everything with some beautiful I-cord edging, which I think turned out really nice. And you do that on the sides as well and the bottom. So when I wore this, I wore it with a pair of jeans with kind of a French tuck, so the front tucked in, and I really liked how that looked. This is gonna be a weird one for me to style because the Knit Picks Capra is definitely a heavier yarn. It's not like a summer fabric. So it's gonna have to be a layering piece, and I'm just gonna have to figure that out. But I don't mind that, and I think it's a good challenge for me to, my dog's very itchy right now apparently. I think it's a good challenge for me to try to wear different things in my wardrobe. I also feel like I could wear this with all the things. Penelope, you okay? Okay. I also feel like I could wear this with all the things that I mentioned previously about this sweater. So I'm just gonna have to play around with how this works in my wardrobe. Sorry, and then she hit the table and the camera. Oh dear. So I'm very happy with this. I just think I need to figure it out. I love the color. It was a very quick knit for me, even though I had to re-knit the top 3 times for various issues that I had. The first time was that it came out far too big. So I went down 2 sizes. And then the second time I accidentally, I guess I had 1 ball of the hemlock color in Knit Picks Caparetta, which is fingering. And I was like, there's something wrong here. And it took me way too long to figure out that I was using a fingering weight yarn instead of a DK weight yarn. And so then the third time I finally got it right, but then I didn't attach things correctly. So, I mean, if I hadn't made so many mistakes or needed to make so many adjustments, it would have gone faster. But I actually did not mind knitting these front triangles at all. It was kind of fun. So very happy. And I have another garment to play around with. Okay, and then I finished my Tolsta Tee. This is a pattern by Rebecca Clow, the crochet, and I ended up making a size 3. I started this on August 27th and I finished it on October 14th, I believe. I can't really read my own handwriting. I have chicken scratch these days. No, I've never had good handwriting, but it's gotten progressively worse. The yarn I used is the Lemonade Shop DK in the light side and the dark side, which are Star Wars themed colors that she released for a Star Wars Millennium Falcon cowl. And I was going to do and decided not to. And I'm just so happy with this that this is what it was born for. So here it is. I'm so happy. It fits beautifully. This is a really stretchy DK and it doesn't look super stretched because I feel sometimes like it looks a little small for me when I hold it up, but it fits really well. And I probably should have worn this sweater today, but I was a little chilly and I wanted long sleeves, but I will wear this in the future because it fits really great. So it has short rows in the back, which went really well. It was a great pattern. I can't say enough good things about it, and I don't have anything interesting to say about it. There's a little sparkle in the light side yarn. I don't know if it's picking up on here at all. It's a very gentle sparkle, so I don't even really see it, but I like that it has a little sparkle. That always makes me happy. I did run out of the light side yarn, so this is how much I have left from 2 skeins. And I've been playing around with the thought in my head of if I should unravel and bind off with the light side. I don't think I will. I'm so sorry about my dog. I don't think I will. I think I'm done with it. And this is a great layering piece, or it's pretty light, so I feel like I'll be able to wear this in the fall and spring very easily, and in the winter with maybe a black cardigan over it, or a jean shirt. I could do that, or a jean jacket. I think it's gonna be a nice versatile top. So I'm really happy with this. And yeah, very, very happy. I'll wear this in a future episode. I'll try to wear both of these in a future episode. I didn't really think about putting them on today. I don't know why. Okay, so let's move into works in progress. Yes, or whips. So the last time that I recorded, I said I've been dying to cast on my port sweater and I'm gonna do it that day. And I ended up casting it on that day. And that's the only day I've worked on it since, because then I ended up going to California, and I've been working on a lot of small projects that have been bringing me a lot of happiness. So I've just been going with the flow, but I do really want to get back to this. So here's the port sweater. It's a pattern by Ozetta. I love this detail. And I'd previously gauge swatched, so here are the yarns I'm using. This is Biche Bouche, Le Petit Mohair, Silk and Mohair, Mulberry Silk, and Super Kid Mohair, made in Italy. And the color is beige. And then this is Wool Dreamers. I have it written down, I should just read it from there. Wool Dreamers Moda in Natural. So these are the 2 yarns separately, and here they are together. So I believe I cast it on the back. I'm not 100% sure though. I haven't looked at the pattern. Since I knit all this, I put the stitches on hold and then I put it back in the bag, and I went to California and I haven't thought about it since. So I have to pick this back up because I really want this for the fall. So it's gonna be, I imagine, something like this. Be a little lower. But yeah, this is, it feels nice. I wouldn't say it feels like merino, but it's definitely softer than like my Douglas Cardie. It's soft enough. It feels nice, but you can definitely tell that it's wool, if that makes sense. But yeah, I really am enjoying this, and I want to get back to this because I would like to have the sweater for sure done this fall. I have a lot of yarn, so. Okay. I feel like I'm going very fast. I don't know if I should slow down or if I'm going at a good pace. We will see. All right, next I have, just see if I can pick the right bag. I think this is the right one. Yes, all right. I started another party line scarf. This is a pattern by Caci Apple, who is Young Folk Knit. And I made one of these a few episodes ago using some Le Garçon mohair that was sport weight. And now this one I'm making in Stolen Stitches Nua Sport in the color Kitten Fluff. And I started this on October 20th, 2024. This is gonna be for my sister-in-law. When she saw my, the one that I made for myself, she's commented a few times about how cute she thinks it is and that she would really like one. So I started one for her. This is such a fast pattern. It goes so quickly. So this is really just a gray color. I realize my lighting might not be wonderful today because I'm using natural lighting and it's a little hazy out. And I just love this pattern. It's a lot of fun. So I think I'm a little bit more than halfway through. I'll have to double check. I'll hold it up to the one that I did before. But I wanted to use this yarn because I've had it in my stash for a long time. And I also am planning to use this yarn for a Isabel Kramer vest that I'll be casting on in the next month or two. So I thought this was a good way to kind of get to know the yarn, and it's very nice. It's pretty soft. She says she's pretty sensitive to wool. I don't remember what the makeup of this yarn is. I don't have the tag in here, but I know it's not 100% wool. I feel like there might be some linen in here. So it's nice. It's again, I feel like that should be my catchphrase. It's not merino, but it's nice. I don't think this will be itchy or scratchy. So, and if it is, I'll try it again with some different yarn, but I wanted to use yarn I had in my stash this time. So this is coming along really well and I really like it. Since I have this bag up here, I have two projects in it. So I'm just gonna shift to the other pattern that I have, or the other project I have in here. And that is the Manhattan hat by Tori Yu. And I started this hat last spring in March 5th, 2024. And the yarn I'm using is Labiana May, Corey Worsted, and Kitsune. This was a leftover from a stratified sweater that I made, and I loved that sweater so much. And then I put it in the wool cycle on my washing machine thinking that it would work, and it did not, and it shrunk. And I actually just put it in a Goodwill pile because I had my daughter try it on, and she was like, it's too boxy for me the way that it kind of shrunk, and I think I'm so sad. I tried to then hand wash it again, and it's not bouncing back. So it was the most expensive sweater I ever made, and I'm really disappointed because I also happen to have loved it, but it's gone. And this is a little remnant of it. So it's a beautiful burgundy color, and right now it's just 1x1 ribbing. If you'll notice from the picture, there's quite a tall kind of cone at the top of this hat. I'm not young and cool, so I'm not intending to wear it like that. I'm intending to wear the crown much closer to my head. This one's kind of an experiment. I don't know if I'm gonna love it. And if I don't love it, I will donate it or gift it. But yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for 1x1 ribbing, but not very often. So this one usually comes out and I do like 1 or 2 rows, and then I put it aside and work on the party line scarf or something like that. So since they are sharing the same bag at the moment, that's kind of what's happening. All right, I have made a mess. What was previously in this bag was a Sophie shawl that I was modifying with fingering weight yarn, and then I realized I was really just trying to make a Sophie scarf, and I wasn't loving the yarn choices. I tried 2 different yarns, and I just at the end just decided it wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do, so I ended up frogging that for now. Okay, so next I ended up going to Santa Barbara, California, as I mentioned. It was for work. It ended up being a very nice trip. I wasn't looking forward to it at all, as that happens sometimes when I travel for work. It feels very cumbersome. I live in Wisconsin. I don't live in a airport hub, so I usually have to fly to O'Hare or Denver or Atlanta or someplace else to get to where I'm going. And Santa Barbara is an especially small airport, and this is the second time I've ever been there, and each time I've had trouble with flights getting canceled, and I'm not quite that confident to fly into LA and rent a car and drive to Santa Barbara. I had some long flights, plenty of knitting time, and once I was there, I actually ended up having a really great couple of days with people I work with, and we got to go to a beautiful protected preserve, which made me remember why I love working where I work. I work for a very large environmental organization, and I get some really great experiences because of that. So I ended up coming home feeling very grateful, which is wonderful. But I thought I was gonna have a ton of knitting time, and I didn't, because for one thing, we were busy. That's what kind of happens when I travel for work. We go hard, like morning till night. But then you think you're always gonna unwind in your hotel room. Well, we were 3 blocks away from the ocean, and I had a hotel room that was just slightly larger than a prison cell. I think I could touch the wall on both sides from my bed. There was no closet. There were a lot of lovely things about the hotel, but the room was not one of them. And because there was no closet, I kind of had to have my stuff on all the surfaces, and there just wasn't a lot of like relaxing space to knit, which is what I was looking forward to doing. But because of that, I probably ended up going and walking down to the boardwalk and to the ocean more, which is never a bad thing. My hair did like really puff up in Santa Barbara. The humidity was incredible, and I was like, my hair has never done this and ever before. It was very interesting, but other than the hair, I had no other real issues while I was there. But anyway, that was a long story to tell you that I casted on a pair of Mahogany Run Socks. This is a pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady Designs, and I just thought, to have an extra project. I think I brought 6 projects with me, which was stupid to begin with, but I was really thinking I would have more knitting time. Anyway, the yarn that I'm using is Nomadic Knits in their Tweedy sock base in the colorway The Diamond of the Season, which is a Bridgerton colorway, in case you didn't recognize it. And these I decided to make 72 stitches magic loop, and I started these on September 24th. I've decided I'm going to cast on a lot more 72 stitch socks, because a lot of people in my life lately that enjoy the socks I make for them and that have asked for socks that have larger feet than me, and I have a lot of socks. I should probably count how many pairs I personally have, but I really don't need any more socks. So I'm trying to be better about making socks for other people, and I figure that I can just kind of even have a gift pile to pull from when my mom has Mother's Day or a birthday or Christmas, or my sister. I found out recently most of my adult nephews who have comically large feet as well are interested in socks, so I'm just going to be making more 72 stitch socks. So here, anyway, this is getting a lot of like funny talk, but here are the Mahogany Run Socks. And again, I love this yarn. You're gonna see I'm like a Nomadic Knits fangirl. I am pretty much knitting a lot of her yarn right now. I have a lot of it and I want to knit through it. But yeah, so these are a ribbed and eyelet pattern that's just really fun and rhythmic. My favorite combination when I'm making socks. And I did a Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which the stripes lent themselves really well to. I did end up cutting the yarn because I would have been 1 stripe off. So I would have come back up to another mint stripe, I believe. and it would have been fine, but I just decided I didn't want that. So I cut the yarn and now I'm gonna start on the foot. So I don't know if I have a specific timeline for when I want this done. I'm not sure. It might end up taking more of a front position in my sock knitting if I want to finish it for the holidays, but I'm not sure yet. And I can also wear 72 stitch socks. It's not like I can't. So it could end up being for me. Story of my life, right? So yeah, so magic loop. I'm a big fan of sock knitting. I'm a big fan of cuff down magic loop, but I also think knit the way that brings you joy. If you like those small circular needles, use those. If you like toe up, do toe up. Just knit the sock yarn because it's so much fun and I love it. I love self-striping sock yarn, especially from Nomadic Yarns. If I said Nomadic Knits before, I meant Nomadic Yarns. Again, it will be listed below if I make mistakes. Okay, another cast on that I did for my trip out west, because I thought I was gonna have all this knitting time, as I previously said, is I casted on a third Musselburgh hat. It's a pattern by Ysolda Teague, and I cast this on with Lolo Did It Sparkle Sock Yarn in the Edward colorway. And I stopped my increases between an adult medium and an adult large. And I started these on September 27th. I'm not very far. It looks just like a bean right now that could go on your head. So here it is. I purchased, I don't remember when I got this yarn, to be perfectly honest, but I do really like it. My intention in casting this hat on was that I wanted to make a hat for my friend's mother. She is the grandma of our baseball team, and she's always been very supportive of our family and both of my kids. And she is recently going through a pretty rough bout of breast cancer the second time around. And when I cast this on, I thought, I want to make her a beautiful, sparkly, fun hat. And then I started to realize that might not be the best thing to do for someone who has lost their hair. I don't know if this will be soft enough. I'm going to finish making this hat for sure. I just don't know if the recipient is gonna still be the person I intended it for or not. So if any of you have made caps or hats for chemo patients in the past and have any feedback on whether or not this is appropriate yarn to use, let me know. Like I said, I'll keep working on it. It'll be for someone. It's a lot of fun to work on. Between the sparkle and the speckles, I'm really enjoying this one. And now I did all my increases, so I'm just knitting around and around and around forever and ever and ever until you decrease. And then if you're new to the Musselburgh pattern, welcome. Basically, this is just going to turn into a long tube, and then you fold it in on itself and it becomes like a Watchman type style hat. I have one that I wear almost every day when I take my dog out in the mornings because my hair is wet and it's cold outside. So, I mean, it could also be for me because I need more hats in my life. Me and this Musselburgh were not, well, I think I actually tried to pull this one out on the plane, but the way that I had wound this yarn up apparently was a big problem, and I could not untangle it on the plane, and I didn't feel like using my knitting time to do that while I was in my hotel room. So a few nights ago, I had to actually break the yarn because I don't even know what happened. And so now I have two balls, but it'll be fine. We're friends again, and I'm working on it again. All right, so that, I told you everything I needed to tell you about that. And then after I finished my dad's socks, I immediately had an empty sock needle, so I casted on more Nomadic knit socks. Nomadic Yarns. These are socks for my husband, Nathan. This is the Nomadic Yarns Twisty Sock in the Evermore colorway. These are 72 stitches. It's just a vanilla sock. And I started these on October 13th. My husband likes short socks, so these are gonna be shorties. I've already done the heel flap and gusset. And I think one of the reasons I love Nomadic Yarns is because her stripes lend so well to heels. You saw in the last pair that I made with the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I just cut it and like it it was almost right on. This one ended up being very close to right on. I ended up just having a slightly thicker orange stripe there, but I don't know, the continuity is really nice and I'm just happy. So these are kind of fall. I definitely felt fall when I picked this up. And yeah, these are gonna be for my husband for Christmas or his birthday. He and my son both have birthdays 1 month after Christmas, so I like to have a couple pair of socks for them if I can. But yeah, those will be, I'll be putting some more time on these because I feel like I could do these pretty quickly. I've been knitting more socks lately, and I realized that if I were to commit, I could probably knit a pair of socks in 2 to 2.5 days if I knit on nothing else. But because I have 25 works in progress at any given stage, I just don't do that, but I could. So I like to remind myself that like, it's possible. If you need to get socks done, you can do it. Because I really did that with my dad's socks and Chris's socks, just by working on them almost the entire time that I traveled to Santa Barbara. And with all the knitting time I had, I finished Chris's second sock and I almost finished my dad's. So that was pretty cool. All right, I signed up for a test knit, which you'll notice I have not said I have been doing very many test knits lately because I was not being a good test knitter, and I found that I wasn't able to prioritize them in the past. But I've done a lot of test knitting for Tiff Neilan in the past, and she has a new scarf coming out, and I thought, I want to make a scarf. A, it looks like something I could definitely keep up with, and B, this could be a Christmas gift for someone in my family. And it looks like a great scarf pattern. I might make one for myself too. We'll have to see. But I casted this on October 22nd. And so the first half of the scarf, it starts small and it gets a little bit wider, and it's got a beautiful textured stitch. And then the second half of the scarf, you switch colors of yarn and add mohair, and that looks like a stockinette. So it's got two distinct sides to it. And it just looks really, I'm really excited about it. So here's where I'm at. I'm on the first textured part of the scarf. So I started down here and went through here. You can see there's a slip stitch down the middle and there's texture. I decided to use a speckled yarn. This is Sweet Skein of Mine DK and the color Drunk Elephant. And then the second half of the scarf, I'm kind of on the fence if I'm gonna stick with this. So I had a big moment with buying a lot of knit picks and Dean Treasure earlier this year. And so I have two skeins of this Fog Heather color, it's gray. And then I also had this Knit Picks Aloft in Carbon. So I was thinking about holding those together for the second half of the scarf. I'm not, you know what, I should do it like this. I'm not totally sure I'm gonna love it. I'm not married to it, but it's what I have in stash right now that could possibly work. So I'm gonna try it. If it feels too dark or isn't quite working, I'll pull back and try something else. I'm really trying not to buy more yarn for this project, so we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm loving this. I was really chugging hard on it for about a day and a half, and then I put it down to do a few other things, but I need to pick this up because I don't wanna miss my the date that it needs to be done, because there's no reason for me to. I can get it done pretty quickly. Okay, and then I noted, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have heard that I found some extra sock needles in my house. Two extra pair. So I had to cast on 2 extra things. And the first thing I casted on was the Flea Circus socks. This is a pattern by Belinda Barbagallo. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly or not. But these are socks I've had this pattern in my queue for a very long time. I've been wanting to make these. I think they've even been, the yarn has been in this bag for a long period of time, along with sock needles, just waiting to be cast on, and I just haven't. So I decided to go for it, and I'm gonna have to pull it out. But I'm really loving it. So here is my Flea Circus, and it's great. So this is Knit Picks Stroll and Hollyberry. Knit Picks Bear is the white, and then Knit Picks hand painted in mixed tape to make the fleas, the little speckles. So I looked at the pattern, and like I mentioned, I'm making more 72 stitch socks just because I think it makes sense for the people in my life. So I cast on 72 stitches, and they have you add a lot of stitches, like a lot. And I just think this is too big. It's 96 stitches on the needles, and I just don't think this is gonna fit anybody. So I'm going to pull it back to the ribbing, and I think I'm going to just add a few more stitches to make it for the middle size, and start over, because I don't want to make a sock that's not gonna fit anybody. And this just looks like it's for like a giant. So yeah, so I'm going to pull this out and recast it on, but I'm really excited that I started these, and they're fun to work on. I would highly recommend this pattern. It's fun and easy, and I don't know, it's just like little bits of joy every time that like the colors come through. So all right, and then for my second spare needle, I casted on more Nomadic Yarns. This is her Lake Life colorway. I bought this specifically for my son Milo. He loves the lake. We have relatives that have a lake house. Anytime we go to the lake, he loves to fish, he loves to tube, he loves lake life. So these are, when I got this, it was with Milo in mind. So these are gonna be either his Christmas or birthday socks, and I just cast on the ribbing and we're starting. So you'll see that it's pretty dark in here, but there's like a green and a teal and like a purple. Yeah, green, teal, purple. Yeah, so I cast these on as well. So I think all of my sock needles are now spoken for. I think that makes 10. I have a problem, but that's okay. All right, and finally, I've been working on my culmination blanket, which is a pattern from the Salt and Timber book by Lindsay Fowler. And that's a picture of the blanket. And I'm using leftovers from my sweaters to make this blanket. And thinking about that, I still have some leftover yarn from this that I think I have enough to make a square. But I've started to make a sweater with my leftovers from my Love Note. So this, I don't remember what the yarn is, but it's like a brown tweed. So I had finished the Love Note a while ago this year, and I made a turtleneck. And the turtleneck just ended up being a little too tight, and I couldn't get it over my head. So this past weekend, I unpicked that, I undid the whole turtleneck, and I added more stitches and redid the turtleneck, and now it fits. So that's another sweater that I'll be wearing on here so that you can finally see it on. But this is the leftover, and I think this is gonna be a really nice square. So I'm really happy with it. And the culmination blanket is a lot of fun. I don't know, I always think, oh, it's not gonna be fun when I have to sew everything together, but what I've been noticing lately is I don't mind sewing things together. I don't mind that stuff as much as I feel like in my brain. I dread it, and then when I'm doing it, I kind of enjoy it. So I don't think this will be finished this year, but I'm working on it for sure. All right, that's it for my works in progress. So for November, my plans are to finish at least 2 more pairs of socks, if not more. I have several sock tubes as well that I am planning to add heels, toes, and cuffs to so that I can give away a couple of Christmas gifts. I also would like to finish some of these small things that you've seen, a couple hats, a couple scarves. If I can finish 3 or 4 of those, that would be great. Sets me up well for holiday gift giving and just clearing off needles as well. I want to start at least 2 more sweaters before we get too far into winter. I want to finish the port, and I think I have 2 more sweaters and a vest that I would really like to cast on in the next month. I like to load up my needles. I love having a lot of whips. I love options for what I'm going to spend my knitting time on. That's just how I work. So there are things I showed today that you may not see again for 6 months. That's just how I am. I know that can be a little annoying, but I can't change. I've tried. And then I think that's about it. So the other things I wanted to do, I did this weekend. I wanted to fix that turtleneck. That is done on my love note. And then I needed to add buttons to my Douglas cardigan, and I also got that finished. So now I can wear those 2 sweaters going into the fall and winter. So that's great. All right, we will get into book club / personal. This is not going to be very long, but if you are not interested in that, thank you so much. It was great to spend some time with you today. Thanks for listening and letting me share, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. So for book club, I listened to a few contemporary romances while I was traveling. They were fine. And then, I don't know, there may have been another book in there. I promise that I will give you a little bit more information on all these books the next time we speak, because I'm just not even remembering them right now. Right now, I am reading before bed Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, I believe. If I'm wrong, I will put the correct name here. And it's fine, it's good. She is the same author that wrote The Guest List, and I liked that a lot better. Penelope. She's wagging her tail, she's happy. It's fine. I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so hopefully I'll finish that soon. I've been enjoying reading it before bed. It's a little creepy for this time of year, which has been good. And I've been enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with it. On Audible, I have been stuck. I started a book called The American Roommate Experiment. I don't remember the author. It will be in the stuff below if you're interested. And I've just been stuck on it. I'm not sure why. So finally today on my walk with Penelope, I put it on double speed, and I was like, I just have got to get through this book because I've been stuck on it for like 3.5 weeks, and that is very unlike me, especially with Audible. Other than that, fall did arrive in Wisconsin, which has been wonderful. It is beautiful here. The colors, the leaves are changing. It's lovely. And my daughter had homecoming. Milo had, oh dear, what did he have? He had some fall baseball with his new team. He had cross country, which he did very well with. He made it to the conference finals and ended up about top half for all the top runners of all grades. So 6th through 8th grade, all the top boys. He was, I think, 54th out of 150-ish. So very, very proud of him. He did great. And now he's doing flag football, and it's not a program we will ever do again. It's been very disappointing, but he's got some good friends that he plays with, and I guess that's making it bearable. Not that I always need my kid to win, but yeah, things are just, this organization is a little fishy. You know, like stacking one team to dominate and then not having, with 2 to 3 experienced coaches, and then having other teams not have the same opportunities to learn from coaches. It's just been disappointing. Yeah, and then obviously I went to California. It sounds like I might have to travel for work again in the spring. My daughter is just about to start her competition season for her high school dance team, which means it's going to be extremely busy for the next couple months with that, and then it ends abruptly. So yeah, that's where we're at and what's going on. Things are very busy. I'm really trying to make some creative space in my life for things other than knitting. One reason I also think I'm not going to do any make-alongs next year is I talked off and on here about writing and my past with fiction writing, and I'm starting to create space for that again. And I think next year I'm really going to be putting more of my time and energy into writing, which is exciting and scary. And I just keep telling myself that at the end of the day, the writing is for the experience, and if anything comes from it, that's wonderful, but I just need that creative outlet also for myself, and I'm trying to create that. So yeah, working on making space for that in my life. I have the time and space for it. It's just creating new routines, which is hard to do. And now I'm rambling, so I think that means that I should be done. But thank you so much for joining me, especially if you hung on this long. And let me know, as always, what you're working on, what you're reading. If you have any books that you think will jolt me out of this rut, I would really appreciate your recommendations. So send them in, and we'll see if I can get out of this rut. All right, until next time, I'll talk to you soon, and happy knitting. Bye.